everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and welcome back. It is Championship review time. I know it's Tuesday, but obviously the West Brom and Brentford game, which I went to, was on the Monday night. So I thought I'd wait until the whole programme of games was finished. Normally do this on a Sunday, but apologies for that slight delay, but this is why we're doing it here on Tuesday night. So we're going to go through all the Championship action this past weekend. Norwich stay at the top. They're 2 points clear at the top still. They beat Rotherham 3-1 at Carrow Road. Rotherham in 20th. Norwich are back onto that 2 points per game, which has seemed to sting some of the other teams in action. The gold standard, as I always say, and they are attaining it. Went 1-0 down here. Towell scoring early for Rotherham, and Rotherham hit the inside of the post as well. Could have gone 2-0 up there. Cantwell and Aarons, the two young guys, I know they have got Lewis as well in there, so two of the young guys scoring there. I'm pretty sure that was Cantwell's first goal. I'm not sure whether Aarons has scored for them, certainly not in the league before. Might be wrong about that. Pookie 12th for the season, and Norwich push on. Pretty good week for them. Another 7 points on the board. I say pretty good week. That's an excellent week, isn't it? Any week with 2 points per game is good. We've just been used to that big, long winning streak. Rotherham, first defeat in 8. But as I kept saying, so many draws. They're still only 2 points off the relegation line. We love what Paul Warne is doing, but they do need to pick up a few more wins, especially in a 46-game season, a 24-team league. Those wins are very, very much more valuable than a draw. I said home win, so correct on that one. Like I say, Norwich still looking good. Think it's Bolton at home for them next, then Bristol City away. They need points from those two games. Get a little bit harder over Christmas. I think it was 5 of the top 7 are coming up, but their score is great, and they could get to the 23-game mark still with the 2 points per game. So looking really good for Norwich. Rotherham will need a bounce back and hope that this now doesn't turn into any kind of a winless run. Second place is Leeds United. Big win for them, and this is the first of today's goalkeeping mishaps. A real theme across the division. Some horrible goalkeeping by some pretty good goalkeepers. So Sheffield United 0, Leeds 1. Blades go to 6th position. Leeds in 2nd on their own. Now, Leeds in good form, probably equal to their August form now. Back-to-back wins have turned into the 9-point week, the 9.3 game week. We know Norwich have done that a couple of times. I think someone else did it earlier in the season. Can't quite remember who that was. Only team this week to do the 9-point week, so well done to Leeds. Blades are still in the top 6, losing against the bigger teams. Their last 3 defeats have been against Leeds, Derby and Forest, which would be slightly worrying. Got to beat the big teams when you're up there, and also what's the point finishing the playoffs if you're obviously going to go into a playoff game against the top 6 teams. So Blades are going to want to be getting some good results against big teams. Hopefully they'll be thinking against West Brom, a game, that'll be my next game on December 14th. Looking forward to that. I said home win there. I was wrong on that one. And obviously the big elephant in the room was Dean Henderson's mistake at the end there. And Pablo Hernandez is in such great form, and that was an open goal. But you didn't want him on the end of that at all. Moving on, West Brom 1. Brentford 1. I was at this game, so do check out my review elsewhere on the channel. It'll be the previous video to this one. First time I've been to West Brom in 20 years or something, which is quite scary. West Brom absolutely dominated. This should have been out of sight at half-time. That said, it was 0-0 at half-time. Into the second half. It's Barnes that gets the goal, I think 77, 78 minutes, but Brentford get the equaliser way, way, way late. West Brom should have won, but I think they're in good form. I think they look a little bit more solid now with this 4-3-3 as opposed to the 3-5-2 they were playing. So I'd be optimistic if I was a West Brom fan. Whether it's going to be top 2 or whether it's going to be playoffs remains to be seen. We'll probably need another 10 games to be a lot clearer about that, but certainly you're thinking their top 6 side. Brentford will be pretty pleased to have broken their losing streak. Maybe something to build on. Brentford fan did point out to me on YouTube they have had a pretty difficult run. I forget totally who it was, but it's been West Brom. It was Sheffield United in midweek, and I do forget the previous game. But I know they've had a few hard games in a row. I said home win on that one. Should have been a home win, but for the 92nd minute goal would have been. But I was wrong. I can take that. And here come Aston Villa now, looming up on the rails. Borough 0, Villa 3. Said before this one, and I predicted an away win, that Villa, if they win this one, everyone's now going to start saying, oh, here come Villa. Look out for them. Abraham, Grealish, McGinn, Balassi, Kodja, El Ghazi. Everyone's going to start, big team, saying that they're going to be favourites. They did win. Chester, Abraham, Whelan. We get our second horrific piece of goalkeeping by the normally very reliable Darren Randolph. He lets one through from when Glenn Whelan's scoring from outside the box. Your keeper's probably at fault there. Villa, a lot of noise about them. They're still 8 points off second, because I know a lot of people said, oh, now look out for Villa. It would take one heck of a run. Remember, we saw Fulham pretty much win from about December through to the end of the season, and they left it too late. They still couldn't make second place, so it would need to be a heck of a run, but they're certainly standing very threateningly on the edge of the playoffs now, Villa. Borough are down to 4th. Maybe that's a bit of a reality check for Pulis, because I've been thinking for a while, I've got to do more with that squad than, draw, 1-0 win, away draw, tight home win. Maybe that will give them a little bit of a push to say, look, automatic's going to be, Leeds are playing well, Norwich are playing well, Villa are coming, West Brom, maybe they need to do a bit more, Borough, and this might shake them into it. We know Pulis would be very likely to bounce back from this with, I don't know, 8-game unbeaten run or something like that, so we'll have a look. Like I said, away win, second one correct from me there. Forest 2, Ipswich 0, another game I was at, so again I'll plug the video. Lots of people have viewed that one, so really pleased about that. Pretty one-sided, and another goalkeeping error from Bialkowski and goal from Ipswich. He is not in good form. 3 times Player of the Year and spilled the Rickwas shot. Grabbing in and grabbing in again. Great second goal there. That's been doing the rounds on Twitter for everyone touching the ball, and 18 consecutive passes. So Forest look good. Grabbing, I think, is that 14 now or 15? I think it's 14 for the season. So he's top scorer in the league. Ipswich, well, what else is there to say? We'll talk about them more in the preview show. If you want Ipswich content, go to the Blue Monday podcast, which we put up on Sunday. But yeah, looking really getting cut adrift now. 7 points adrift at the bottom. Ipswich not looking good at all. I said home win. Third one correct there. Derby 2, Swansea 1. Derby just on the edges there in 7th spot, chasing Sheffield United. So they continue their win-lose, win-lose, win run. Wilson got another 2 here, 4 in his last 3 games. He's in good form. The chase is hotting up now. Win-lose, win-lose, win-lose is not going to be enough. 1.5 points per game, that'll start equating that. People are starting to mobilise now and make their runs, and there's a couple of teams in the playoffs, Derby and Villa I'm referring to, outside the playoffs, would really expect to finish in the playoffs. So looking like a good chase here now between now and the rest of the season. Swansea in poor form, slipped to 13th, and one of only 2 teams to do a 0-point week this week in the 3 games. I bet you can't guess who the other team to do that. A late goal here, their only consolation. Tomori own goal, I think. I said home win, my 4th one correct. Here we go with some more lovely goalkeeping. Birmingham 3, Preston 0. 2 teams both in good form. Hard to beat, but wow, this is the most horrible goalkeeping mistake. Sometimes I find mistakes funny, but not this one. This was quite uncomfortable. I felt really sorry for Rudd. I don't know what Keefton Belt was doing, whether it was an attempted through ball or some kind of clearance or something, but it bounces through and Rudd doesn't seem to bend down, and I don't know what he was doing. Whether, do I control this? Do I pick it up? Straight through his legs. Horrible, horrible mistake. Magoma and Adams with the other. Adams only one behind Jutkiewicz, this great front two partnership. We'll talk about Graham and Dak in a minute, but Adams and Jutkiewicz leading the way there. Jutkiewicz 10, Adams 9, I think. Birmingham, good character here. They got pummeled a bit by Villa in that derby, lost 4-2. And they're 2 straight wins to come back from that. 4 points off the playoffs. Traffic building ahead, though. Maybe mid-table or upper mid-table is where Birmingham are going to be headed, because lots of traffic ahead of them. I said draw. Wrong on that one. Preston, I'm going to give them a pass because they've been in really excellent form. They do need to keep on top of things, though, because they're surged up, but they've surged up from a really bad start and need to solidify this, although we would expect them to move into lower mid-table probably in the new year, the way they've been playing. Blackburn 4, Sheffield Wednesday 2, and Danny Graham joins the Roll of Honour. Hat-trick for him, joins Sharp and Jutkiewicz in this year's hat-trick Hall of Fame. Blackburn, 2 straight defeats. They really needed that win. Wednesday didn't seem to get the memo about shutting down Dak and Graham. 4 goals and 2 assists between the two of them in this game, so they're racking up the numbers there. Wednesday picked up 4 points in their last 4, so they've sort of arrested that slide, that horrible run of defeats. Hell of a goal by Lucas João in this one, but ultimately meaningless. I said home win. I was correct. There, great win for Hull at QPR. QPR in 11th. Hull move up to 19th. And away from that, do you remember last week there was a group of 4 teams on 17 points? Hull have moved up to Rotherham and made that a group of 3 teams now. Rangers have been in brilliant form, as we've said, since losing their first 4 games. We did their points per game and they would have been second based on starting at game 5. I know it doesn't quite work like that, but a little point as to how good their form has been. But Hull have 11 points from their last 6. That's playoff form, not relegation form. Looking good for Hull. I saw them in September and thought they were really not very good. But Bowen is a match winner. He got 2 goals and an assist for in this game for Hull. Off day for Rangers, but you know they've had such a good run. They're looking at the top half, comfortable mid-table for sure. So can't really grumble too much if you're a Rangers fan. And Hull, you know, any team down the bottom there put a run of 11 points in 6 games on, and you know that's going to buy you a little bit of time, however badly you play going forward. I said home win. I was wrong. Hull pulling me on that one. Reading 2, Stoke 2. Reading in 21st. Stoke edging forward like a tortoise in 12th position. McNulty bounces back from his penalty miss against Leeds to give Reading the lead. Phobe, beauty from Ince there in this game. 93rd minute equaliser from Barrow. Yes, Stoke are not losing, but it's only 4 wins in 13. Their progress is too slow. 7 points off the playoffs. As I said about Birmingham, there's a lot of traffic ahead of these people, and Stoke even further back need some kind of big run to push them up there. Progress slow, I would say, at Stoke, despite the lack of defeats. Reading, surely you're happy with a point when you get a 93rd minute equaliser there from Barrow. Hull have pulled away a bit. Reading sit with Millwall and Bolton on 18, but I think a lot of these teams at the bottom, if you gave them, I don't know, the last 3 games of the season, they were still in it and it was in their hands, most of them would probably take it easy to get cut adrift in the Championship. I said away win. Wrong again. Rubbish. In fact, I think I'm done for correct predictions. I'm on 5. It's not terrible. Records 7, as you know if you watch these videos regularly. Bristol City 1, Millwall 1. Now, I'm trying to make this a bit more interactive. So if you are a subscriber, I am going to be asking for subscriber feedback before I put these videos up. And Matt Lumsden asked on YouTube, what did you make of Bristol vs Millwall result on Sunday? So we're now going to have a look at that one. Matt, thanks for getting in touch. Own goal from Cooper. He's involved in a goal in every game, but an own goal this time. Williams with the equaliser. I think it's one of those where it's not much use to either team, but both teams would have been happy not to lose. Johnson's a bit on thin ice, I think, with a lot of Bristol City fans. He got that fortuitous win at Ipswich, chaotic win there. He'll be happy, 4 points over 2 games, but he's so streaky, probably would have expected to win that one. Millwall, I'm going to have to start adjusting my expectations on Millwall now. They're so good last season, but the longer it goes now, you've got to look at it as a bit of a relegation battle now. Half the season is coming up and it's a pretty big sample size and just not winning enough games really. You've seen Preston pull themselves out of it. I said weeks ago, Preston, Millwall, too good, they'll both pull out of it, and it seems to be Hull who have done that instead of Millwall. So that would be my view on that. 3 wins in 16 in all competitions, and I remember they caught Villa and Ipswich at a good time, both without managers there. So Millwall definitely need to up it, and they will view themselves now as in a relegation battle down in 22nd. I said home win, and I was wrong again. Obviously, the draw coming in. Last one here: Bolton 1, Wigan 1. Bolton lead after 7 from Buckley. Grigg 25. Game ends in a draw, and Wigan have had a good week. They were tumbling fast, 5 points and unbeaten. That will do. They just needed to arrest that slide that was going on. And their horrible away record. I think they're like 6 defeats on the trot or something away. They've arrested that. Bolton, I mean, they'll take a point given where they are, but it's one of those where you need to win games at the bottom. My team Ipswich is finding this. When you have a good performance, when you take the lead, you've got to manage to turn these into 3-pointers. You know, you'd rather win 1, lose 1 than draw 2, I always say. So, but Bolton, hey, not losing is a start when you're on the kind of run that they're on, but take your chances and 3 points are invaluable. I said away win there. Wrong again. So there was a couple more questions. This is Yellow Army on YouTube, and I think a picture of Arnel Hernandez, so a Norwich fan there. Right now, he asks, he or she, who would be your top 6 in order? Oh God, come the end of the season. So the question is right now. So on right now, my top 6, I'm not going to do them in order, but Norwich, Leeds, that's the top 2, that's fairly easy. Borough will stay in there. West Brom is 4. Got to say, I would be worried if I was a Sheffield United fan. I don't want to upset, I know we've got a lot of Blades followers on here, but if I'm sitting there in 6th as a Sheffield United fan and Villa are mobilising behind and Derby is still outside the top 6, God, that's a tricky one. Let me go through that again. Norwich, Leeds, Borough, West Brom. I'm missing someone out. Who the hell's in 5th place? Sorry, I need to check my notes again. This is great content, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to probably put Villa in. Oh, I'm missing out Forest. God, Forest looks strong. I mean, you look at those squads, and the best squads are Middlesbrough, Villa, West Brom. So, but then Norwich have got so many points on the board, haven't they? They're way ahead of Villa. Really difficult one. Let's try again. Norwich, Borough, West Brom, Leeds, Forest, which only leads one of Sheffield United, Villa and Derby. And you make Villa favourites out of those 3. I think it's going to change around a lot. I mean, I'm being asked right now. If you ask me that in 2 weeks, you get a different answer. But you see where I'm coming from. Villa coming strong, and Derby as well. You know, with the way they invest, you wonder will they bring other people in January as well. Thanks for the question, though, Yellow Army. We'll try and make this a regular feature. David Sanderson. I'm a Danish fan of Ipswich. Follow your podcast. Thanks, David. I'm coming over to watch the Stoke game. Would like to attend your live show. How much? How do I buy a ticket? Eventbrite.co.uk, David. And for anyone else, it's an Ipswich-based show. But if you're a Stoke fan who watches this and you're going to the game, February the 16th, I'll be hosting a live podcast in Ipswich. Just hit me up on YouTube or Twitter at Benjamin Bloom if you're interested in that. So thanks for getting in contact, David. Let me know what you thought of that feature. Maybe we can do a separate Q&A video and I'll put the shout out and advertise it a bit longer in advance, just trying to find out new ways of engaging with subscribers, whatnot. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on that feature and whether we should make that a separate video. All looking really fun now watching the Championship. Obviously, put my team Ipswich aside, not much fun watching them. But up at the top there, interesting. I've predicted this. Norwich, whoever it was, set the standard. Leeds are following. West Brom are following. Borough are going to have to get their act together. Villa excitingly coming up there on the rails. Forest as well. Forest were good and they're tight as well. Sheffield United, we know they can kick into gear at any time. So that entire top 8 all now is going to expect to be winning for the remainder of the season. It's going to be very interesting to watch. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up in the comments. Give it a thumbs up. Get involved in the comments, especially on the Q&A type feature. Let me know what your ideas are for that and whether I can do that as a separate video. Subscribe if you're a Championship fan. Good Championship chat. We've got some really good subscribers. Some really good debate going in the comments. Some really good insight as well. So really been enjoying that. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. I will be back. I'm not at a game now until next Friday, but I'll be back for the Championship preview. Maybe Thursday or Friday, possibly Friday I would have thought this week. So stay tuned, thank you for watching, and please get involved, subscribing and commenting. See you soon.